Hey there, viewers! Your health comes first, but often we women ignore our own health while managing our home, family, and work. When was the last time you really relaxed? If you can't remember, then this video is for you. Today we're going to talk about 7 health symptoms women should never ignore. Feeling short of breath after climbing just one flight of stairs? Do you suddenly feel numb in your legs or hands? Are your periods heavy and painful? We're going to discuss all of these and more. Number 1. Shortness of breath. Have you ever had trouble breathing all of a sudden? It can be really scary. There's a very close link between your breathing and how effectively your heart is pumping blood throughout your body. The main function of pumping blood is to ensure all your tissues get the oxygen they need. When that doesn't happen, you feel a shortness of breath. This is because your heart is not pumping blood effectively. One of the reasons your heart may not be doing its job is because it's showing signs of a heart attack. This is one of the reasons you shouldn't dismiss symptoms like shortness of breath. You should look for other symptoms of a heart attack such as chest pain, nausea, and cold sweats. You could also feel shortness of breath due to other conditions. It affects your pulmonary system and lungs as well. Allergies and asthma can also cause shortness of breath. If you're suffering from obesity or low blood pressure, you will deal with the same condition. How many flights of stairs can you climb in one go? Do you use an elevator or climb stairs to get to your apartment or workplace? Share your preferences with the Bestie community in the comments below. Number 2. Sudden numbness. Losing any feeling in your body is unpleasant. It doesn't matter how small it is. Numbness is when you suddenly feel a loss of sensation in your arms or legs. Usually you feel numb because of a lack of blood supply. Sometimes it can be because of nerve compression or damage. Numbness should not be taken for granted. You could be having a stroke. If this is the case, there are other symptoms you can look out for as well, such as difficulty speaking and problems walking. You might feel sudden confusion with trouble seeing through one eye. If you're feeling any of these things, make sure you let someone around you know. You may not be able to recognize these symptoms on your own. Certain steps need to be taken very quickly if you're in fact suffering from a stroke. You need to get treatment within a few hours. Ideally, you should be receiving it within the hour the symptoms start to show. Looking for answers on all the latest health and wellness news? Hit that subscribe button and join our millions of followers. Stay up to date on all our great Bestie content. Number 3. Heavy or painful periods. Do you know the difference between a normal cycle and an abnormal one? If you suddenly experience heavy or painful periods, which is not usually the case, there's the possibility of gynecological problems. A heavy or painful period could be a symptom of uterine fibroids. This is the most common form of non-cancerous tumor and is seen mostly in women who are in the ages of childbearing. There are other gynecological problems associated with heavy or painful periods. For instance, you may also have endometriosis or pelvic inflammatory disease. There are treatments available for these issues in case you start showing other symptoms along with your abnormal periods. Number 4. Abnormal bleeding. Apart from periods, if you see bleeding, it's time to see your gynecologist. It could be a serious issue. This is the same in the case of bleeding after menopause. These are symptoms that should never be ignored. One of the reasons you may experience abnormal bleeding is because of uterine cancer. It could also be a case of cervical cancer. Uterine cancers are usually endometrial, which means it originates in your uterus's lining. Along with bleeding, another symptom of uterine cancer includes abnormal discharge. You may also feel some pelvic pain while also facing difficulty urinating. Some complications resulting from uterine cancer can be life-threatening, so it's important to get yourself checked as soon as you see the symptoms. Bleeding could be caused by endometrial hyperplasia. This occurs when the lining of your uterus becomes thick. Keep in mind this is non-cancerous. At the same time, you still need to get yourself checked to avoid further complications. Before we move ahead, here's another video you might like. Trying to get in shape? Here's a video on 6 exercises that can transform your body in just 4 weeks. Now back to our list of 7 symptoms women should never ignore. Number 5. Pain during intimacy. This one's a pretty sensitive topic, but it's one that needs to be talked about nonetheless. If you're suffering pain while, in the bedroom, it could be for a number of reasons. Again, endometriosis is a condition you will need to look out for. This particular condition can result in infertility among women. Endometriosis happens when a tissue similar to your uterus lining begins to grow separately from the uterus. There are other symptoms you can also watch out for. Apart from pain during intimacy, you might also be suffering from pelvic pain, as well as very unpleasant periods. On top of that, there will also be pain during urination. These symptoms should not be taken for granted, and you will need to check with a doctor as quickly as you can. They will usually suggest hormonal treatment right off the bat. Pain can be an indicator of other conditions as well. It's very important you get a thorough medical exam done. That way you can avoid complications in the future. Number 6. Skin changes. While most people tend to take good care of their skin, there's always the possibility of you seeing a mole or a freckle. If you're particular about your skincare routine, you might even notice changes in the color or sizes of pre-existing moles and freckles. If this is indeed the case, then you will need to get it checked by a doctor as soon as you can. These skin changes could serve as signs of melanoma, which is one of the more deadly types of skin cancer. As is the case with most types of cancer, melanoma can be treated if you catch it ASAP. This is why it's important to look in the mirror and check your skin every once in a while. Take note of any abnormalities. If you want to be extra careful, try getting a regular screening from a dermatologist. Number 7. Discharge from your breasts. Considering breast cancer is one of the most common forms of disease among women, it's really important you do self-examinations on a regular basis. You'll need to look out for any changes in your breast size as well as lumps. You also need to take note of any discharge you find. This particular discharge is another indicator of breast cancer. The discharge from your breasts can also come in several forms. It could be blood, it could be clear. Either way, you'll know it's something peculiar. You'll need to get yourself screened for breast cancer. Even if you don't feel any lump in your breasts, the discharge can be a symptom of the disease. Catching it early would help save your life. When it comes to figuring out whether these symptoms are life-threatening, it's always good to trust your instinct. While it doesn't do any good to worry over every small change, you should keep an eye on symptoms that are clearly pointing towards a serious medical issue. More often than not, being cautious can make a huge difference between life and death. It not only helps you, but also helps protect the people you love. Knowing these 7 symptoms will help women take care of their health. Interested in knowing more about women's health care? Did you know the nutritional needs of men and women are different? There are healthy foods a woman should be eating every day. Some of them might even help with hormonal imbalances. Let's keep things going with a couple more videos, shall we? Check out 14 healthy foods women should eat every day. You can also try our video on 9 symptoms of hormonal imbalance in women. Go ahead, click one, or better yet, watch both and learn more about women's health and wellness. Did you know about these 7 symptoms of disease? Let us know in the comments below.